That is a Praetor's Council. Okay, we might have to speed things up here because that card just, like, ends games.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out Bruenor Battlehammer. Can we win the game with our free equips? Find out next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Bruenor Battlehammer today. Pretty excited about this one. This hand, it's interesting. So, got a lot of our late game pop in it, but not so much early game. But, we got Sun Titan plus 2 fetch lands. I'm going to keep this even though it's a little bit slow. If we get to the point of Sun Titan get back Myriad Landscape, that is so much mana. And that so much mana says that you basically just kill the table with this Crackle with power. If you guys haven't seen this one yet, it is ridiculous. It's everything you hate about Torment of Hailfire, but even more powerful. Although, I guess the one main difference, so this can kill you from 28 life so easily. I've had it happen a few times now. Where Torment of Hailfire, your opponents have to make choices about how their life gets burned. If you have enough mana, Crackle with Power just ends it, and it doesn't even take that much mana. Something around like 10 or 12 mana into this thing just turns into an absurd amount of damage. Opponents having themselves a turn over there. So Mana Crypt into Soul Ring into 3 visits, that's kind of an issue. We're going to play this Myriad Landscape and hope we find a Winter Orb. Bloodforge Battle Axe coming in for opponent. Nice. A card that you could certainly run in this deck. The choices for this deck have become incredibly difficult. From Commander Legends forward, they've printed so many good Boros Voltron cards that it is very, very difficult to pare your deck down to 100 cards. We'll read Bruenor first, and then we'll take a look at the deck. So, Bruenor Battlehammer, 4 mana, 5/3. Each creature you control gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it. You may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate each turn. So good. So incredibly good. It's everything you like about Sir Gwyn, except on a cheaper body. Sir Gwyn's biggest problem is that it's 6 mana, and the tempo involved in Sir Gwyn kind of holds it back a little bit. I've said this before that I think Sir Gwyn should have either been 6 mana with haste or 5 mana without haste. I think they overcosted it a little bit for what it does. But I'm really excited to see the free equip ability on a 4 mana Boros commander because the 6 mana body is kind of tough to get into play, and if it gets shot, it's a really bad time. So, yeah, super excited to check this one out. Anyway, it brings it back to our turn. There's a Tome of Legends. We'll play the Plains, play the Tome of Legends, and we'll pass like that. So let's take a peek at the deck while we're doing all of that. Sword of the Animus coming in for opponent. So let's take a peek at the deck list. Here's what I have going right now. There's a couple test cards in here still, just things that I wanted to look at. Hopefully we'll see them today, namely this Inspiring Statuary. Everything else, maybe 1 or 2 other things, but there were at least 10 cards that I really wanted in this deck that there was just not room for. That's just how many choices there are when it comes to Boros equipment now. You have lots and lots of card choices. I would actually say that if you don't have unlimited budget to go out and buy all these swords, it's actually kind of refreshing just because you can put more other stuff in the deck, right? If you have the money for Enlightened Tutor, it's hard to justify cutting an Enlightened Tutor for something else because it's just that good. Same thing with Fire and Ice, Feast and Famine, that sort of stuff. When you don't have those available, you get to make more interesting choices. If you do have them available, they're generally best in slot all the time. So yeah, if you have unlimited budget to build this deck, it looks a lot like every other Boros equipment deck that I've played. But if you don't, there are some interesting choices you get to make. Up here at the top end, I think Argentum Armor is going to be fantastic for this deck because of the free equip. Cauldron Complete also looks great. That's a lot of good abilities to put on your commander, and especially Indestructible. That's a great one to have around. But yeah, even something like Waves of Aggression, I didn't get into the deck. And right now, I'm really, really hot on the Feast and Famine Waves of Aggression strategy. I don't even have Neheb in the deck, which I also like to pair with Aggravated Assault. I know Aggravated Assault goes infinite, but like, You don't even need to go infinite necessarily with Feast and Famine. If you get one untap and fire off one additional combat with the Waves of Aggression, that means one or more players are probably dying. So that's something that I'd probably look to get in here as well. I put in Mob Rule and Crackle with Power as our alternate win conditions, just in case our board gets messed up and we can't keep things in play, which does happen sometimes. But anyway, yeah, that's a peek at the deck. Like I said, there were at least 10 cards that I really, really wanted that just did not make it. Building a deck like this now has become very, very tight on deck slots, especially if you have unlimited budget. Anyway, brings it back to our turn. Opponent did a million things over there. Let's see, there was a Panharmonicon. Then there was a Prosperous Innkeeper. Looks like they got 2 of those. Then they got a Blade Griff prototype. Deals combat damage to player. Destroy target non-land permanent that player controls of an opponent's choice. There's 2 of those. That seems not great. I have a feeling that Tome of Legends may not be long for this world. I guess with all of that, we play an Arid Mesa, crack an Arid Mesa, get Plateau, then crack the Myriad Landscape. What's our hand look like? A lot of white in our hand. This requires some red. That requires some red. We'll go for Plains right here. So with all that, let's take a look at what our opponents are playing today. First up is Pauper Arbus piloting Ebondeath Dracolith. Haven't actually seen this one yet. 5 mana, 5/2, flash, flying, enters the battlefield tapped. You may cast it from your graveyard if a creature not named Ebondeath died this turn. That's kind of cool. It's a zombie dragon. I have to wonder if there's some sort of loop that you can execute with that, like if there's some sort of graveyard combo, potentially. The other thing you could do, I could see going Mono Black Voltron with it. It's a 5/2 that flies. That's pretty solid. It does look like they're going the Voltron route, actually. We see a Bloodforged Battlehammer and the Sword of the Animus, so that's probably where they're going. Opponent exiled something with a Raven form. Oh, the Panharmonicon. That's a fantastic idea. Taking a look at our next opponent, we have Fish Said Fish piloting Orvar the All Form. We've seen this one on the channel a little bit. Orvar, pretty crazy as a mono blue commander. Changeling, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. Whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard a card, create a token that's a copy of target permanent. In this case with Orvar, usually it's the second ability that's the most relevant. You target your permanents with anything, and then you get a copy of them, and it's insane. Opponent decides to skip combat with the Blade Griff prototypes. Yeah, they got out to just a crazy start with like 5 pieces of ramp. It's insane. We're going to be on 5 mana this turn. I mean, I guess we can bring most things back with Sun Titans, so let's get the Rogue's Passage in just in case of a wheel. We'll get Boros Signet. Actually, you know what? We can draw with the Tome of Legends, which I think we should take the time to do. I know we could cast our commander instead. There's a Stonehewer Giant. I think we need to find our way into some removal as quickly as possible. We'll drop in the Pure Steel Paladin. We might be exposing it, but again, we can get it back with Sun Titan as that becomes relevant. So I'm curious to see if Pauper drops down a board wipe at some point. He generally likes to run a bit of removal, so. And our final opponent, by the way, is Illegal Xeno, piloting Volo Guide to Monsters. 4 mana, 3/2, that says whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control, or a creature card in your graveyard, copy that spell. Oh, that's kind of wacky. So you want a deck with as many different creature types as possible? I think is what you're going for? That's kind of crazy. Ooh, nice, that's a Whelming Wave from Fish. Love it, get rid of all this stuff. So Pure Steel Paladin gets bounced. That actually works out nicely because we only spent 2 mana on the Pure Steel Paladin. It's not like we tapped out for our commander and, you know, basically lost an entire turn. We still got some things done with the Boros Signet and drawing a card with Tome of Legends, so I can appreciate that. And this kind of resets everything. Now that everyone has a little bit of mana to their name, it's going to be much easier to combat the super fast start that this Volo had. So that's a huge piece of removal right there. Prosperous Innkeeper coming back. Enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Yeah, they're up to 49. They're going to get 2 of those. There's the Sword of Vengeance, finally finding our first equipment. We will have Metalcraft if we cast it. Let's get the command tower in. We have choices right here. Stonehewer Giant is always good. Opponents just use a piece of removal. I feel like there might not be much more. So it could be a good time for the Stonehewer Giant. We could go Pure Steel Paladin, draw a card with Sword of Vengeance, and then free equip it. Ooh, yeah, that does seem good. That does seem good. I think I'm going to try the Pure Steel Paladin plan just because... Actually, no. We can wait a turn on that, I think. Let's go for the Stonehewer play just because it's a slower play and the board wipe just happened. And, like, if we catch a land off the top, we could cheese it and next turn potentially go cast Aurelia, activate Stonehewer, put a Helm of the Host on Aurelia. That's a thing that we could do. I guess we can play the Pure Steel Paladin right here. Hope a board wipe doesn't happen. The question is, will we actually get to cast our commander this game? Because based on what's in our hand, I'm not so sure. These cards are all really good. Yeah, opponent casts their commander, brings it in at the end step tapped. Pretty cool. There is something to say about flash on a commander and just being able to dodge board wipes and stuff. Like, you know, that's a great tempo play to not get hit by this whelming wave right there. Coffer's into play for opponent. We'll want to watch out for that as the game kind of rolls along here. Oh, that's a Feast and Famine. Uh-oh. Yep, opponent's got some stuff now. They can't equip the Sword of the Animist and the Feast and Famine all in the same turn, though, which is nice. Because that's even more mana. You get this combo. This combo is really nice just because you get the land in tap and then you untap it. And it's a pretty sweet thing to do. Yeah, they're going to swing into Xeno. Oh my, it's a 7/4 pro green and black with flying. Oh, opponent's got a Pongify. They said no thanks. That works out great for our Stonehewer Giant. Another piece of removal down. Love it. Monkey. Coalition Relic for opponent. One that I don't use as much anymore. I think I prefer Skyclave Relic these days. Unless you have a 6-mana commander. Oh, that's a windfall. No, all of our beautiful cards. All of our beautiful cards going away. Oh, I don't think we really have a way to get these back either. That hurts so much. Well, we drew some other cool stuff. We have ways to get the Sword of Vengeance back, but Sun Titan and Aurelia are probably down. That's something I've been thinking about more, just making sure you have a way to get these back. Probably a Maria Shepherd is the way to go. But you could also just use like a Miraculous Recovery if you want. There's a Tendershoot Dryad. There's 2 Tendershoot Dryads. That's good. So, I mean, one trip around the table, as long as we survive, we can probably mob rule and kill everyone with the Tendershoot Dryads. We'll see if anyone picked up removal along the way. Nature's Lore for opponent. More ramp. Opponent said they lost a finisher. Oh yeah, there's an End-Raise Forerunners down. Brings it back to our turn. There's 2 Tendershoot triggers. There's 2 Prosperous Innkeeper triggers. Oh my. I think this is actually a time for Fire and Ice, because we need to shoot some stuff. Blasphemous Act is also good. Oh, we do have Sulphurous Blast in the deck, which does clear out everything. On the other hand, we do have this mob rule to think about. There might be reasons to not blow up all of opponent's stuff. I'm going to play to the mob rule. I know that I could get Sunforger and activate it to get Sulphurous Blast, assuming that Sunforger's working right and that they fix that bug. So I guess there's some risk with that. The other thing we can do, we get a Fire and Ice and then shoot something. Actually, yeah, we should do the Fire and Ice and shoot a Tendershoot Dryad, because +4/+4 will put the Saplings out of range, out of mob rule. So yeah, okay, let's do that. Yeah, let's get some stuff going. We're going to draw some cards, too. This is going to be sweet. Cast the Dowsing Dagger. Opponent's got so much stuff already that I'm just going to give them the tokens anyway. I know they'll gain life off of it, but whatever. I want to keep the other lanes open. So we draw a card with the Pure Steel Paladin. It's another land. We do need some lands. Yep, opponent gains 4 life. Play the land. Play the Luxodon Warhammer. Pure Steel Paladin triggers. It's a Windswept Teeth. All right, what are we doing? Do need to make sure that we don't die to tokens, but... we have a Luxodon Warhammer. That'll gain us some life. Who's doing the attacking? Free equip the Dowsing Dagger to the Pure Steel Paladin. Maybe we should just put it all... lifelink matters. Lifelink matters. Okay, yeah. Yeah, just put everything on the Stonehewer Giant. Declare attackers. Activate the Stonehewer Giant. Get a Sword of Fire and Ice. Pure Steel Paladin triggers. Attach the Fire and Ice to the Stonehewer Giant. Will we just draw like 4 cards with Pure Steel Paladin? 3 or 4? So good. Ooh, that's a Mana Crypt. We can keep going. We can keep doing stuff. I might hold that back a turn, just because, yeah, I don't think we really have anything to do with that mana, so I might hold that back for a turn. Hope there's not another wheel. Just because, more so I'm worried about, like, a piece of mass artifact removal going off. So there's the Fire and Ice trigger. We're going to shoot a Tendershoot Dryad. We'll shoot the original, since, like, you know, tokens can get bounced and then they'll just disappear that way. Relevant with the blue deck at the table. We also get to transform the Dowsing Dagger. Oh man, if we still have this Crackle with power, we're about to have so much mana. There's an Akiri Fearless Voyager. That's a huge pickup, actually. Now we can play the Mana Crypt. Oh, our colors are kind of jacked. Because we'd have to use all of our colors to get all of that in. I'll tell you what, though. You know what? I think is worth it. Because it gives us a blocker that has lifelink. And that generally keeps people away. So we'll do that. We'll pay triple white and a red. Won't be able to leave up the Akiri ability, though. Hope we don't get punished for this. Then free equip all this stuff over here. Pure Steel Paladin, so good. So good. For the longest time, I wanted this to be legendary. Now we're starting to get stuff like it. We haven't needed Bruenor yet, but if we drop it next turn, it will also make our stuff huge, which is cool. Yeah, okay. I guess we pass like that. Pretty good turn. Pretty good turn 6. Tender Shoot continues to trigger. Opponent's gonna equip the Feast and Famine. Yep. Opponent's gonna equip the Sword of the Animist. Yep. Opponent's gonna equip the Bloodforged Battle Axe. Yeah, they got a big monkey. They can't get through us. Yeah, they're gonna send it over there. Perfect. Sword of the Animist triggers. Bloodforged Battle Axe, Feast and Famine. Sword of Vengeance. Yeah, they're definitely doing the Voltron thing. Boots. Equip the boots. It's kind of awkward. You got to be careful with that because now they can't put this stuff on there. Commander's Plate. Yeah, that's some equipment. I mean, the blue deck doesn't have an austere command. The green deck could have Bane of Progress or something. Wouldn't be the best. So the mob rule isn't going to be completely lethal yet unless opponent coughs down a bunch more stuff. But what we can do is use Stone Hero Giant to get a Sunforger. Use that to keep ourselves safe while their army of tokens builds up over there. That's a Diluvian Primordial. This is going to be terrible. I don't think they can cast that because it has an X in its cost. So I don't think they're going to get anything from us. But looks like card draw over here. That's fine. A Pongify. Okay. Yeah, they're going to go Pongify and Ambition's cost and just exile our Crackle. This is a card that's really easy to mess up on Magic Online. There they go. They got the hang of it. Okay, so our mob rule plan I think has been thwarted, at least for now. They're going to Pongify the Tender Shoot Dryad, which is absolutely a correct thing to do. And then they'll draw 3 cards and lose 3 life and exile our Crackle with power. And opponent's going to flash in their Ebon Dracolith. Wonder why they're doing that now. Oh, was it in their graveyard? It might have been in their graveyard. Let's double check. Yeah, it was in their graveyard. So because a creature died to the Pongify, they were able to cast it from their graveyard. And that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Basically, you can kind of cheat commander attacks. That's something. Yeah, the mob rule not nearly as threatening now, although there's starting to be some big stuff on board, and mob ruling the big stuff, also not the worst idea. We might wait a turn, though, see how big things will get. I think in the next turn cycle, there'll be more equipment probably. We'll see what fish drops down. Ooh, if they try to copy that, that's kind of nasty. Luckily, there aren't too many nasty oh, that's a Praetor's Council. That is a Praetor's Council. Okay, we might have to speed things up here because that card just, ends games. So they get their graveyard back into their hand, up to 8 cards, no max hand size for the rest of the game. See if we can... Here's a list of everything they got back. Mirror Battlesphere, Tender Shoot Dryad, Nature's Lore, Endray's Forerunners, Amphin Mutineer, Bladegriff Prototype, 3 visits. Yeah. There's Lightning Greaves. Luckily, all of opponents' creatures are green. We can drop a Feast and Famine in, and, that's unblockable against them. So if we cast our commander, and we move all this stuff to it, I think we need to get haste on our commander. That's the thing that we're missing. I guess we also have a Rogue's Passage to make it unblockable. Okay, yeah, I think I see a plan coming together here. Choosing Tails, 1 the flip. Now I really see a plan coming together here, because that's a Colossus Hammer. So all we need to do is make our commander unblockable, and I think that's lethal against our opponent. The problem then becomes everything else on board. So let's say we cast our commander, we free equip a bunch of stuff to it, we use the Rogue's Passage to make it unblockable. That should be easy lethal with this thing. So let's see, that's 10, 13, 15. 15 plus 5 is 20, and then all the 2 O's that it gets on top of it. Yeah, that works. Then after that, we'll want to, I think, probably Blasphemous Act and try to keep all of our stuff alive, which shouldn't be that bad because we can use Fire and Ice for the Pro Red. We can get Cauldra Complete for Indestructible, and then we can just use a Kiri one time to keep the Pure Steel Paladin alive. Yeah, we've got a plan. Let's go. Play this Windswept Heath, crack this Windswept Heath, get a Sacred Foundry untapped. Play the Battlehammer. Tome of Legends gets a counter on it. Activate Stone Hero Giant. I think I'm going to use the Lost Veil right here, because the Lost Veil mana gets a little awkward. Activating Stone Hero Giant. Getting Cauldra Complete. Pure Steel Paladin will trigger. Living Weapon onto the Bruenor. Or rather, attach it to the Bruenor. Pure Steel Paladin will trigger. We draw a card. It's a Mistveil Plains. The Living Weapon happens, but then we'll just use the Equip 0. Oh god, there's so many Equip 0s. I believe this is the Pure Steel Paladin ability, so we'll use that one. Oh, maybe we used the wrong one. There's 21. How much do we need to do everything else here? So we are starting to run low on mana. Maybe we don't need the Colossus Hammer. I might hold off on that. So if we use these 3 into that, that'll leave 1, 2. 1 to activate a Kiri. Oh, you want to know what we should do? We should Blasphemous Act first because it'll be the minimum mana. Once, how many creatures will be left in play? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. Okay. Put that there. We could put... Nope, that doesn't save it. I think this will work. Colossus Hammer, Mox Opal off the top would be sweet. Pure Steel Paladin. Oh, Dockside Extortionist. That's more mana. That is the mana we need. Dockside Extortionist. 10 treasures. Yeah, we are golden now. I guess we can wait till the second main now because we have a bunch of mana to our name. Okay. Move everything back to Bruenor then. Everything's on Bruenor. Make Bruenor unblockable. Oh, we forgot one. Put this one on there. It's got 33 power. Send this over to Xeno. Akiri and Tome of Legends will trigger. We draw Bonder's Enclave. Opponent goes down to commander damage. Fire Nice trigger. Shoot the commander, I guess. Could also just go to the face, I guess. That's a Wheel of Fortune. Probably not going to do that since they're at one card. Also, I like what's in our hand. Opponent goes down. We still have a bunch of mana left, so now we do the thing where we keep the Cauldron Complete on there, move this over to the Pure Steel Paladin, move this over to the Stone Hero Giant, move that over to the Akiri, and Dockside will probably go down here, but that's fine. Cast a Blasphemous Act, holding up priority for 2 mana. Holding priority, then we activate Akiri's ability. Unattach the Colossus Hammer, do it again, save the Stone Hero Giant. This is indestructible, and this is pro-red. Let the Blasphemous Act go off. Blow up all the stuff. Draw with the Tome of Legends. Boop, there's the Mox Opal. I'm just going to hold on to that in case artifact removal shows up. Then, I guess free equip all this stuff. Pure Steel Paladin, so good. Pure Steel Paladin is in fact better than Bruenor Battlehammer. Just that Bruenor is in the command zone and Pure Steel isn't. Yeah, we'll just put everything on the Pure Steel. Oh no, it died! I guess that's fine. It had damage tracked on it. I forgot about it. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. We can recast it again next turn and put Cauldron back on it. Oh, maybe we should have did that differently, because now we don't have Indestructible on Akiri. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Although, I guess more likely than anything, Toxic Deluge or Mass Bounce, which doesn't really help you here. Felwar Stone for opponent. Ebondeath back to play. Comes in tapped. Yeah, that at this stage of the game, that can definitely be a hindrance. I almost wonder if, like, 1,000-Year Elixir or something that untaps it might be worth a card slot in that deck. Yeah, they're going to put everything on it. Can't do any attacking, though. Oh, I think we can kill opponent with their own commander. Let's do it. We can mob rule their commander and then put, like, Colossus Hammer on it or something. As long as Fish doesn't do anything crazy right here, we're in very good shape. It's a Great Whale. Uh-oh. I'm sure that's bad. Untap 7 lands. They untap. 5 cards in hand. Here comes Orvar. That's also bad. Do they have the copy spell? They have a quasi-duplicate. Yep. Another Great Whale. 7 more lands. Card draw is probably the next thing they need. Ooh, they have 2 triggers now. Yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. This is a situation, and I was thinking about this before the game, where Rule of Law, when you get out to, like, this position where you just need to untap to win, Rule of Law is really good. In this case, a Waves of Aggression also would have got a lot done. We could have just waved and then attacked again and, you know, taken someone out. So yeah, those are things to think about. Mystic Confluence. Uh-oh. Yep, return the Great Whale, draw some cards. Need to hope they fizzle. We're at 80 life, by the way, so, like, it would take a lot of Great Whales to actually kill us. An extra turn spell in here, yeah, if they start firing off turns, that could be scary. Turns and Rifts, kind of the things we're worried about. Or just Lab Man of some sort. There's, what's that, 17 mana? Looks like an X spell. Oh, another Great Whale. 17 mana. Capsize! Uh-oh. That's probably game. Maybe not. That untaps 7 lands. So, but it cost them 7 to cast that. They can bounce a few things, but I don't think they're mana positive enough to make that work yet. Oh, let's see. So, they capsize... Because the Capsize returns 1, and then the other one gets copied because it's targeted. So it costs them 13 mana to capsize a Great Whale. Oh, and they +1? Oh, this is tricky. Oh, I wish we kept the Dockside alive. If we kept the Dockside alive, we could probably win from this spot. Because then we could just mob rule everything. The question is... Yeah, so we have a thing. I mean, I guess the thing we can do too. Opponent's going to steal all of our stuff. Okay. With this Master Thief, they probably have enough to actually kill us very quickly, so... I was going to try to play this out, but it's going to take a really long time to do it. And we're not in a great spot, but we can wheel that capsize out of their hand. But I'm just going to concede here in the interest of time. So, the big thing we missed right there, we just needed an extra combat spell, and we can take down a second opponent right there. If the Dockside Extortionist has stayed alive, if we hadn't lost that in the Blasphemous Act, then we could probably win from that spot. Because if they take all of our artifacts, then we play the Dockside Extortionist, get a bunch of treasure mana, then we can do the mob rule thing, and that should kill them. I think it was going to be too hard without that. So, but anyway, yeah, this is the list. Like I said, there's a lot of cards that I wanted to get in here that I didn't. Waves of Aggression being one of them. Let's find a spot for that right now. I'm happy that we did get to see Bruenor a little bit in play. I was worried that with the hand that we had, we actually were never going to cast our commander because Pure Steel Paladin is insane. This card is so ridiculously good in equipment decks. It makes Bruenor look bad, even though Bruenor is a very good card. But he did bring in the commander damage when we needed it and just delivered a nice surgical strike on our opponent, so that was cool. The other thing, like we had a Winter Orb, we could have stopped some nonsense with that if we had caught it. A Rule of Law, probably the same sort of thing. When you're playing Voltron like this and you know there's decks that can go over the top of you, something to stop your opponents, like even Hushbringer. Hushbringer would have stopped the Great Whale. So we had answers to it, we just didn't find them in time. The opponent we killed also said that they were going to kill us on the crackback if we didn't take them out. So, yeah, just kind of one of those things that happens, the way the game shakes out. But I'm glad we got to see our commander. Yeah, the free equip is obviously insane, but the 2-0 also really helps. It means that you don't need a ton of equipment to get the lethal commander damage. I think we had like 3 or 4, which is, still a bit. But, like if you play all of the Swords of X and Y, that's generally still not lethal commander damage for most commanders. So, the fact that it does pump things up is also really cool. Comes on a 4-mana body, which is easy to get into play. Lots of things to like about Bruenor. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon, the link below.